Hey, what's up guys? Today I want to talk about pipeline contractors or companies and cold calling weld bosses. I'm Austin Ross, pipeline welder for 7 years now, and here on this channel I share tips and tricks for rig welders, pipeliners, and the traveling lifestyle. If those are videos that you're interested in, make sure and subscribe and ring the bell to get notified when I post a new video every Friday. So the first thing I want to derail is this idea that you can call a pipeline contractor and get a pipeline job. I get messages quite often, people wanting to know pipeline company names. Like I said, the most common question I get asked all the time is how to get a pipeline job, whether it's a helper job, welder job, but some of them ask the question in the form of, you got some company names? And my answer is always, I know of some. You can Google some. You can Google pipeline companies and you get a whole list of them. I say I can tell you some, but it won't do you any good. The only thing you're going to get whenever you call the pipeline company names is an office lady, and they've got a headquarters somewhere, but they've got 12 pipeline jobs going on throughout the country. And so, like, if you ask this office lady who the welding boss is, she's not going to know, most likely. You know what I mean? She probably has no idea. In fact, this hasn't happened to me yet because I'm not that cool, or I'm always just too curious and always ask. But I know guys that get phone calls to go to work, and they don't even know who the contractor is that they're going to work for. Because I'll be talking to somebody and they're like, yeah, I'm going down here to, New Mexico to run beads for, they rattle off a weld boss's name is what they do, or they rattle off a superintendent's name. And I'm like, who's the contractor? They're like, I don't know. They have no idea who the contractor even is, because they know the weld boss. They've built a name for themselves, and they have relationships. They don't have any idea who the contractor is. That happens probably more often. Now I'm sitting here thinking about it, I've had several conversations with guys that I know that's happened to. Because it's irrelevant. The company name is irrelevant. So now that that's derailed, we can move on to cold calling. So this video, I'm going to focus on what I think is more of a productive, respectable way to make a cold call. You've already got experience. You've already got your foot in the door, kind of, but you're hesitating on whether to call this weld boss or whatever. I really encourage you, if you're still in that stage where you're wanting a pipeline job and you don't know where to start, I really encourage you to go watch this video. We'll put it in one of these corners or in the description, how to get your foot in the door. That's the main video that I send to people whenever they ask me these questions, because I talk about my 5 tips on what to do to get a pipeline job. The process before, which essentially is getting experience. But I also share the 5 hustler mindsets that I think help with that. All about hustling is what it takes. It takes hustle to get your name out there, especially when you don't know anybody. So I really encourage you to go watch that video. But besides that, I wanted to talk about this cold call aspect, because I don't like cold calling. I never have. I've always, you feel fake, or you feel like you're trying too hard. But I'm realizing with what I'm going through right now in the union that it is sometimes necessary. It's kind of like marketing, it's kind of like any business that, that wants to get their name out there. They have to cold call people and ask. It's the same idea when you're marketing yourself. If you want it to happen faster, with everything we have going on, these new sticker designs and the YouTube channel and like the side jobs I've had going on, I haven't hustled as much as like I need to stay busy, which hence why I'm still home. So like for me in our season of our life, I haven't had to do this, but I'm realizing right now that I need to be cold calling probably more, and here in the union if I want to speed the process up. So it made me think of this video, and I think it's going to be really helpful for those of you that are hesitant on whether to make a cold call or whatever the case may be. You've got a phone number off of Facebook, or you've got a number from your buddy, and he said call this guy, but you're nervous because you don't have experience. In fact, I don't even know why you wouldn't call. I have a few things, but let me know in the comments if you do have a number but you haven't called. Let me know why you haven't called. Hopefully this video helps with that, but let me know why you haven't, and at the end of the video let me know if it helped, if this video helped. But yeah, I want to help you make that phone call, but do it in a professional way, in a respectable way. So the 6 things that to keep in mind when making a cold call is: ask who's on the phone, make sure you're getting who you want to call, introduce yourself, ask a relatable question and or person, ask about a person. Number 4, be respectful of their time. Number 5, thank them for their time. And number 6, one last thing to keep in mind is expect no for an answer. Do not make this phone call expecting to get a job. It may happen, but 9 times out of 10, depending on how busy work is and how bad they need welders, how tough the test is, chances are you're not gonna get a test, but it's not worth your time. It's still worth your time to make a phone call, but go in knowing that you may not have a job. Go in with the idea that you're introducing yourself and you're bringing awareness to your name. So this is what I do whenever I make a cold call. Ring, 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 ring. Hello? Yeah, hey, is this Bob with such and such? Don't say with such and such, because it doesn't matter. Just say, is this Bob? Yeah, this is Bob. So ask who it is. Make sure you got who you want on the phone. Next thing to do is introduce yourself. Yeah, this is Austin Ross, pipeline welder. This is Austin Ross, a welder from Oklahoma. The next thing I do after that is, normally, whenever I'm cold calling, it's normally not as cold as like a salesperson would be doing. Normally I have an idea of who I'm going to reference to and something relatable. I'm gonna have substance, something to talk about. That way it's not awkward and you're not just asking for a job. So usually I already know somebody that they know, because like I said, at this point, you already know some people. You know somebody that might know him, or so the number one thing you want to do is make sure you have permission from that person. If you don't get anything else out of this video, it's make sure you have permission from that person that you can use their name as a reference. In this pipeline industry, it's all about referrals and it's all about your name. The last thing you want to do is run your own name or somebody else's name and stir the pot by referencing somebody that didn't give you permission to reference, because you just don't, it's bad. It's bad business. You don't want to do that. So make sure you have permission. This is Austin Ross, a welder from Oklahoma. I got your number from such and such. He's worked for you a couple times. Oh, yeah. All of a sudden, he feels like he knows you because you know somebody that he knows. That's where all this networking that you've done beforehand comes in handy whenever you're cold calling. So yeah, he's up here or whatever. The conversation can go many different ways. Have as much information as you can before you make the call, kind of, you know. But if you don't know anybody, you can always say, I was just calling to introduce myself. I heard you were the weld boss, or I heard you're a weld boss. Ask about the weather. Sounds crazy, I know. The weather is, Kayla gets mad at me, not mad, but she thinks I'm goofy for talking about the weather with people. And the weather, everybody can relate to. So if you absolutely don't know anything about them, don't know anybody that they know, ask about the weather. I was just calling to introduce myself and see how it was going wherever you're at. How's the weather? Y'all been able to work? Things like that. That way it kind of lightens that mood and he kind of feels like he's talking to somebody he does know, even though he doesn't, he or she. So that's number 3, is ask a relatable question or refer to somebody that you know that they may know or whatever. Be respectful of their time. If you can tell they're busy, just say, well, I didn't want to keep you, I just want to introduce myself. Depending on how the conversation went, you might call back in 2 weeks, you might call back in 2 months. If you guys talked about something that you really had in common, or if you got to talking about weld machines or trucks or whatever, if you're having issues with your weld machine, you can call him up and say, hey, I was wondering if you knew about such and such. My distributor on my machine is messed up, or my mag on this 200 is, like, you got any ideas or any tips? That's a reason to call. So therefore you're building a relationship now, right? You're keeping in touch with them, you're asking questions, you're offering advice, you're building a relationship over the phone before you ever even met. So if you do this, I can't say I've actually called the same person over and over and got a job in that exact way, because if you do this enough with enough people, one of those people will probably have a job sooner than later, or if you call at the right time, if work's more busy, you're liable to get a job. So you may not end up keeping in touch with these people, but that's something I want to work on, calling people more often. And so this is helping me too, calling and staying in touch with people and building relationships over the phone, getting over that fear of pushing the call button with somebody you don't know. But the more and more you do it, the more comfortable you get, the more relationships you build over the phone, being friendly and offering to help in any way you can, whether that's, helping somebody fix their truck or machine, give them advice for this, that, or the other. Having the giving mindset more than the selfish take mindset. Yeah, so be respectful of their time, and then also thank them for their time whenever you get off the phone. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. I'll stay in touch, or however the phone call went. Some of them may not go as good, and you still reach out, just may not reach out as often, or if you got a real bad vibe, don't call them back. If they were grumpy or whatever, I just won't call back. I'm not even gonna associate myself with this with this grumpy person, you know, like depending on what you know about them and everything might depend on some of that. But yeah, funnel your energy into people that are going to be friendly back towards you. But sometimes it's just a matter of picking up the phone and calling somebody to get all this rolling, you know, to start marketing yourself with your phone. Last thing, expect no for an answer. Don't expect to get a job. I've kind of already covered that, but expect no for an answer. Along with phone calls, so that's my idea for a respectable phone call, respecting your name, respecting the industry, being professional about this business. The last thing I wanted to throw in here was utilizing social media. Reach out on social media, interact with different influencers like myself, just like you do here, and reach out to other people that aren't influencers and just get your name, you know, out there just by talking to people, just by offering advice in the comments, and steadily doing that, your name will start being highlighted in people's minds as a helpful person, and that's already starting a good name for yourself. Cameron Kelly, online friend of mine, he just started Right Away Access. It's called Right Away Access YouTube channel, Instagram, and what he's doing there is he is sharing his journey from being a nobody to a rig welder. He says he don't know how it's going to go, but he wants to share his journey, and he reached out to me quite a while back online, and we're online friends. He reached out to also several other people. He's already got this network online just by reaching out to people, and it's really, really neat what he's doing. So go follow him. We'll put a link in the description. Right Away Access. He's gonna show you his journey and what he did to get started. He's not even started yet, but like he's already built a network. That's what he's done. But he's gonna show you being on a helper job, you know, putting his truck together. Like he's gonna show you his whole process to show you that it can be done. And I'm really excited about it. So go follow him and follow their page. I think that'll be really helpful. There's also the AROS Welding Inner Circle. It's a membership site that Kayla and I created mostly to build your network, but also for all kinds of, you know, you can build your network because you can meet other people in the industry right away. You can have access to me. We do a monthly self-development challenge in there. There's already all kinds of different people helping each other out in there, critiquing welds in there, answering questions about your rig truck, just all kinds of focused help about the welding and pipeline world right here in this network. So that's also an option. It's real great option, I think. That's why we created it, to help you get started and go the best route you can in this pipeline industry, welding industry in general. I think that's gonna be it for this video. I hope it was helpful. Let me know if it was helpful. Let me know if you have any more questions. My advice for this week is leverage the relationships that you already do have. No matter where you're at, think of the relationships that you already do have and leverage those to get to know other people. You know, be creative, think about that. Thank you for watching this video. Remember, learn something every day. We'll see you next Friday.